Well, hello there, friends. It's June 14th, 2026. Very cool day up here in the north. We've had a few hot days. Getting into the 4th of July. If you're a global warming guy, we can predict that probably in July the temperatures are going to be much higher than they were in January. So take what you want out of there. The science doesn't support a lot of money spent, and I think that's where I'm going to go with it today. So when we look at economics and we look at, because I get online, and sometimes that's really a bad idea, is to go and follow a thread or something like this, because there's a lot of disappointments. And when you're young, you want everything. We're in an instant society, and so they're frustrated. Baby boomers have all the money. Well, the baby boomers worked a lot, okay? And as you get older, you're going to make more because your skill level, everything like this. But there's an attack on capitalism, which I don't think is fair. Because capitalism is proven to be the great equalizer. It has the most potential. It gives you the most opportunity. And, if your objective in life is to do as little as possible and have someone tell you how you're to live your life, well, that's why you probably like socialism. But the freedom that you have, whereby you can have a dream and you can pursue it, and sometimes it doesn't turn out. Sometimes it goes beyond what your wildest dreams are, okay? But at least you have that potential or possibility in a capitalist society. And it's what's driven, capitalism is what's driven innovation. And also, a lot of things that, whether it's farming, and innovation is part of that. Hey, the farming, the irrigation, whatever. So, capitalism has driven that, and it's based on a profit motive. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there is something wrong with going after a profit motive, well, you have choices. If you don't want to buy that new cell phone or that service, you don't have to. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm getting held ransom here. No, you're not. You have a choice. In a socialist or a communist, a lot of times you don't have a choice because you don't even have any money to do it, because everybody's equal. No one pulls their load, okay? Let's just put that out there. But here's the thing about socialists, is they believe that the government can make better decisions for them. And you're acting as if the person that's in charge of the social programs doesn't have a motive themselves, okay, in greed. You're assuming that they don't have that motive, and you're wrong. And that's why socialism never has worked. It's a miserable life when you're living in a socialist, because everything costs more and you don't have enough. All right? And that's, every time it's tried, that's the outcome. And one of the interesting parts about having someone else control your life besides you is, hey, this sounds good. They're going to take care of the homeless. And the question that always needs to be asked is, well, at what price do we give up freedoms? What price does this cost? And where's the accountability? See, I would have no problem if you came to me and said, hey, we've got 5,000 homeless people living on the street. Here's what it's going to cost. Per taxpayer, here's what the burden is, right? Okay, so now I know what this is going to cost me, all right? My point being is that, okay, I agree to this. In 2 years, how many homeless do we expect we're going to have? If we don't meet that number, then the funding's shut off. Now we've got a burden of accomplish. We have the burden of, hey, you actually have to get this thing done. We can now measure how good the program's working because all these programs are funded. And then guess what? Instead of 5,000 homeless, now you have 7,000 homeless. Now why is that? It's because the program is designed to reward people for being homeless. Hey, here's a $1,000 credit card because we don't want you to starve. And I'm all in on that. No reason some person should starve. But if you haven't decreased the number of homeless, if you tell me, hey, we'll have half as many homeless in 2 years, okay, we can measure that. This is where we have to be or funding's shut off. But it never is. Which brings me into my point about, are we really trying to solve the problem? Because people that are put in charge of this, now they're making big money. The accountability is a little shady because we don't have an exacting specification as to saying in 2 years, where are we going to be? No, it's more funding. California is a perfect example. Why didn't the train get built? Why didn't we get homeless off the street? We need more funding. Okay, but when you're looking at how much per individual you spent and we haven't helped anybody out, then where's the accountability? Is this really a good program? But when people tell me they want socialism because then we have all this equality, ask yourself the question, at what price is that? Do I give up? So I'm in pursuit of my career where I can make a lot of money, and now you're taxing me so much to pay for everybody else that didn't push themselves like I did, and that's under the guise of fairness. Well, guess what? I'm not going to go hustle it up. Why should I? And that's the fundamental problem of socialism. I recommend The Fatal Conceit. It's a book that kind of describes that kind of operation and why socialism doesn't work. It's the assumption that the people in charge actually are trying to solve the problem. And there's too many instances that we've had where we put all this money into it and no one knows where the money is and we're not getting the results. And so I joked about the climate, global warming, climate change. Well, climate's been changing for billions of years, so what a scam that is, because now everybody thinks, well, gee, it was cold yesterday, it's hot today, this must be true. And you ever noticed they're always saying in 50 years, this is what's going to happen. We'll be swimming, New York's underwater. They always set it out far enough so that they're dead and gone, and they've laughed themselves to the bank before we can say, well, where did the money go? And in the climate change thing, I looked at all the carbon credits and all of these games being played and the money collected to solve the climate problem. And where did that money go? It didn't go into building wind towers. It didn't. No one seems to know. No one seems to know, what, did we hire someone to develop some technologies to solve this? No one knows where the money went. And that's where the game is on you if you're believing this stuff. Anytime someone tells you government's going to solve this problem, or scientists, which that's not true. The scientists knew something was array. So we have to kind of look at that accountability factor and put that as the number one thing. Okay, I'll fund this. Where are the results? Climate stuff, you're going to carbon tax me. 10 years, CO2 better drop. But CO2 wasn't doing it. Anyway, today's rant. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time.